Hello, Cindy here. Happy Friday. I am super excited today to talk to you guys about a topic around, of course, dating and relationships. So, today we're going to talk about should I go out with him or should I pass? That is, that's a question that I get all the time from women. And I'm going to give you 3 tips to support you in deciphering that. Now, you know, if you're out there dating, and you're dating to meet the one, it's my guess is you're either going out, there's one of 2 things happening. You're either getting yourself out there, you're going out on a lot of dates, or you're hiding. You're wishing that you would be going out on dates, and you might be, sitting on your couch, hoping that the UPS man delivers them or something. And plotting and planning that, gosh, I'm going to get out there, next week, and you might be focusing on what you don't want rather than what it is you do want. So the first thing I want to share with you, when as your I highly recommend getting yourself out there online. I mean, as well as beefing up your social life, making sure that you're out there doing things, you're connecting. And one of the things I know, that if you have a rich social life, you're getting to events, you're trying new things, and you're doing things you're passionate about, or just going to the flipping grocery store and smiling at people. It's amazing what can open up and become attracted to you. One of my clients one time, she was doing some home remodeling and going into Home Depot all the time. I think she maybe was asked out on 4 or 5 dates. So if you're open, it will happen. That's my pep talk for today, around this. If you're feeling scared, if you're focusing on the past, if you're focusing on your past pain, or what relationships have done to you, in love can, every person that we care about will hurt us because we care. And, they will, eventually, in one way, shape, or form. And I typically believe that without trying, and maybe if they are trying to hurt you, then they're operating from a place that is not love. They're operating from fear. So trying to operate yourself in a compassionate manner and holding other people high as you're in this process. Hope this helps you. So 3 things I want you to focus on when it comes to, should I go out with them? Should I not? So when you're online, you're, swiping, or, you're internet dating, and you're looking at people, you're messaging them, I recommend turning it into a meeting sooner rather than later. You do not want to let endless text messaging or messaging happen. So that is number 1. You want to turn it into a phone call. So first, you might want to say, well, hey, how about, I find it easier to see if there's more of a connection by meeting in person. And I say this a lot, you guys, and hopefully you use it because it works really well. And they'll say, yeah, sounds great. And then how about if we have a quick 10-minute phone chat? Typically, men don't like to talk on the phone. So what you want to do is give him a time reference. Okay, she's not going to keep me on the phone forever. So you have a quick 10-minute phone chat. Now you might be thinking, well, I've tried that, Cindy, but it's really hard to connect with someone. So as you're messaging, if they're messaging you back, take a couple minutes, strike while the iron's hot. Hey, are you free to chat right now? Awesome. Let's do it. So make sure that you're in a place where you can chat for a couple of minutes. and, jump on a quick phone call with them. Now, the other thing that I want to tell you, and this is pretty important when it comes to women and online dating, I highly recommend not giving out your real phone number. I recommend giving out a Google, I can't talk, Google phone number, or there's a couple of apps that you can download. I think there's one called Burner, Sideline. You can go on in your app store and search for them, and many of them are free. I know Google is, and I think Sideline is, unless you do any of the upgrades. So I recommend doing that. Give them your phone number and talk to them for a couple minutes. And what you want to do is make sure, the only thing you're trying to do is make sure that the guy can put a couple of sentences together. And typically, if he's not super talkative on the phone, or he doesn't open up much, chances are he's not going to do that in person. Now, there are some people that are a little bit different, and use your intuition. Try to feel in your body, maybe do a couple jumping jacks. I know it sounds silly, before you get on the phone with someone, because then you're going to actually be more in your body. And, ask questions and listen to learn. Like, hey, how's it going? How long have you been dating on the app? And don't allow, and if they ask you the same question, don't allow that to trigger you. Maybe you've been single for 5 years. Well, if you've been single for 5 years, my guess is that you really haven't made this area of your life a priority, or done everything that it takes to really actualize your goal of creating what you want. You might have been distracting yourself with other things, or focusing on other things. So, what do you, how's it going for you? What are you looking for? What part of town do you live in? What are you passionate about? And listen, I don't recommend getting into what do you do for a living, things like that. Somebody said something the other day, and I really liked it. And it shifted the perspective from what you do professionally to, because many people ask that question, what do you do professionally? Or because we spend a lot of time working typically. It was, something along the lines of, I'm blessed to, do, my passion, which is blank. So, really keeping in mind, trying to steer clear from identifying yourself from what you do. Because, for me, part of my passion is people. Part of my passion is, understanding people and supporting them in what creates happiness. And, I believe that our happiness truly starts from within. And I also want to tell you, if you're not there yet, if you feel like you haven't arrived yet, and you might be going, well, Cindy, I'm not where I want to be fully in my career, or I'm not 100% happy, but you have this vision. I always recommend continuing to go for your vision, because you're never going to be satisfied. There's this book that I have it on Audible. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I love it. It's called The Power of Habit. And it's, it really talks about what, getting yourself in the habit of the things that you desire. I just got a question around which dating site do you recommend? I recommend several, and I will tell you right now, Hinge is really popular right now. I've had a lot of clients have success through Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, dating apps. There, Plenty of Fish is another one. Match, for more mature people, there's, God, I can't think of the name. pressure of a name. Do some research, over 50, over 60 dating sites. There's Zoosk is also another one that's pretty popular. This is one thing I will tell you when it comes to dating sites right now. People that are serious about meeting someone, they will do a couple of things. One, they might be on different sites. Two, they might be getting off of app dating and on back onto internet dating like Match.com, Plenty of Fish, and OkCupid, because one, you can find out a little bit more information about someone. If you are more geared to someone that you could have philosophical conversations with, or somebody that likes to watch comedies or theater, or you can get an idea for what someone's passionate about, because they tend to have those you can check off those boxes. Plus, somebody's taken some time to do that and you're paying for it. And whereas app dating, many of them you're not paying for. However, you're paying for upgrades on them. So that's what I recommend. I also don't recommend overwhelming yourself. This is a good one. I'm getting questions today. I love it. We should call it Flirty Fridays, and I'll answer all the questions. So my next question today is, and feel free to ask me questions or tell me about any topics that you guys would like to learn about, because I'm happy to share. Can you be friends with an ex-boyfriend who is narcissistic? Well, this is my experience of narcissistic people. Well, my first question to you is, why do you want to be friends with that person? Typically, I think when we're trying to, you should actually read my email that will be in your inbox pretty soon, because it talks about this very thing, which is about backdoors. And I'll definitely touch on that in a moment. My question to you is, why do you want to be friends with that person? What is your payoff for being friends with that person? My experience with narcissistic people that are on a deeper into the scale of narcissism is they're not really a friend, and you're not really. They may want to get back together with you, but they want to get back together with you because they're trying to win, and they want to control you, and you are a possession to them. That's not love. So, and that's the harsh truth. And yeah, so what I would invite you to take a look at is, she just said, well, I enjoy working out with him and doing activities with him, which is great. I'm sure you can find other people to do activities with. And I would invite you to take a look at, is that holding you back somehow from opening yourself up to the right person? I know I used to do this thing where I kept back doors open. So whenever I would get in a fight with a boyfriend or, something, I would run back to one of my exes. I wouldn't go back to them per se, but I would call them so I could get an ego boost, somebody to tell me how great I am. And that actually kept me from opening my heart fully and stepping in to being all in with full commitment. And if you desire full commitment in return, you get to give it. And obviously, and this goes into other things, he gets to be stepping into that first. So, getting into the fact of, do you go out with him? Do you not? spend about 10 minutes on the phone. And I wouldn't go into it with a critical mindset. Go into it with an open mind. He gets hopped on the phone with you. And then by the time you're getting off the phone, I would also solidify the date. I would say, well, hey, this has been a great conversation. Get off the phone with him first. Wrap it up. Be a woman of your word. If you said 10 minutes and you guys are really having a good time, watch the clock and make sure you're getting off the phone 10 to 12 minutes. Say, hey, this has been so great. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. What were you thinking about that coffee? When works for you? Awesome, let's do that. So you want to move it forward. We live in a society of distractions. And many times when we're getting ourselves out there online and you don't get a response, it's because they got distracted with something, and you might get distracted with other things too. How many times have you not gotten a response from somebody that you'd really like to get a response from, and then you were busy for a couple of days and you didn't respond to somebody, and they took you off the app altogether, right? They're reacting. So really do your best to be compassionate, grounded, and also know that people are a little bit nervous when it comes to this. It could be you could be his first person he's met in a really long time. It could it could be it could be anything, or he thinks you're really pretty in your pictures and he's feeling butterflies. So know that there's all of these things to have compassion for with other people. I recommend smiling when you're on the phone with someone. This is so important, you guys. So when you have that first call, just make sure you're smiling. Make sure you're having a positive attitude. If there's long pauses in between, or you can't really get a whole lot out of him, or he doesn't seem to be able to put a couple sentences together, then your answer is no. And I talk about feeling into your body a lot. Our bodies do not lie, and you can tell a lot more about talking to a person on the phone than not talking to them on the phone. I hope this helps. So one, talk to them on the phone. Make it happen. And yes, solidify that date at the end, because then you're going to be going out on more dates for sure. Okay. Were you talking about Tina? Sure. What I want, do we stay clear of those? It says not. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe be a little bit more clear with your question. One, make sure you get on the phone. Two, make sure you give them a phone number that is a Google Voice number or a sideline number. And three, just make the date for the most part. Don't let your inner critic talk yourself out of it. Our inner critics are just looking, I call it our ego, is looking to drag you down, looking to keep you safe and stuck where you've been and really what you desire. Think about your vision and think about visualizing that vision and getting yourself closer to it. If you're really serious about attracting lasting love, I recommend meeting 2 to 3 different people per week and actually having 2 to 3 days, nights. And it depends on your life, it depends on, how demanding your life is. If you're, maybe you're a single parent, looking at your life and looking at what's feasible for you. And if you don't have dates on these, the specific times that you put, maybe it's, Friday night and Monday afternoon, then make sure you take some time to date yourself and do things that make you feel good. And that may not include your self-care, like working out, doing those kinds of things, but doing something that you would like to do with a partner. It could even be as simple as a walk by the beach, or, even a meditation, or, trying out a new restaurant by yourself, and, really feeling those feels of what that feels like, and imagine how it would feel with someone, because you start to attract more of that, because you start becoming a magnet. It happens. I've seen it so many times. There's a lot of transition happening, you guys, right now. It's spring, it's May, summertime's right around the corner. And, it's a real opening for meeting and creating a lot of connections. And, know that I always recommend move slower in the beginning to move faster later on, because, it takes time to get to know people. So stand your ground, and don't be afraid if someone isn't treating you well, or, you've gone out with them a couple times and they say something and they're not following through. Look at patterns. Look at, and it's not about calling them forward on it. It's about, okay, so does this work for me? We teach people how to treat us. You want to, I always say, reward the good behavior, especially in the beginning, and ignore the bad behavior. If he's, not fully showing up, well, you're just dating him, and somebody else can come into first place. If there's been a pattern, I'm going to go back to this for you, Tina. If there's been a pattern around, somebody, completely disrespecting your time and energy, don't be afraid to walk away, because there might be this little feeling in your heart like they're the last one on earth. But if you let that go, you actually open up the space for the right type of person or people to come in. Anyways, I hope this helps today. I would love to hear, I've got a challenge actually. Get a date by tonight. Get a date for the weekend. I feel like Fridays are really good days to get dates. So let me know how it goes. Either DM me here on Instagram, or private message me on Facebook. Sending you lots and lots of love. And again, I would love to have your suggestions, comments, questions, everything. And please share this with a woman that you feel could really use this kind of support today. I'm on fire today, you guys. Sending you lots and lots of love again. Bye.